You're listening to Civic Media. You can tune into any of our live shows on any radio station across the state with the Civic Media app. Find us in your phone's app store and listen anytime, anywhere.
It is Thursday, February the 27th of 2025. Another fairly mild start here in north central Wisconsin, but don't have the sunshine that we've seen the last few days. Right now, overcast skies, temperature of 34 degrees here at our studios, WXCO studios at the corner of Washington Street and North 3rd Street in downtown Wausau. I am Chad Holmes. It is the Thursday edition of the Chad Holmes Show here on 98.9 WXCO, online at WXCO.FM, mobile devices, and Alexa by searching WXCO, and on the Civic Media app. Coming up this morning, we got a special guest coming up in the second hour at 9:21. We'll be talking to a candidate for the Wisconsin State Supreme Court. Candidate Susan Crawford. She is making a campaign visit here to Wausau later in the day. We'll get a chance to talk to her on her way to Wausau and talk about what she's doing in Wausau, talk about the campaign, and hopefully a little bit more. Susan Crawford joining us at 9:21 this morning. And also, a little bit later on, we will hear part of a conversation that I had last evening with a terrific young man from D.C. Everest High School, senior guard for the Evergreen Boys basketball team, Cohen Preby. He has had some battles. He suffered an injury back in the state football semifinals, and he had joined the football team for Everest this year. Had a very good year helping the Evergreens all the way to the state semifinals. But then in the second half of their final game of the year, he hurt his foot. He missed much of the basketball season, but he's now back and trying to help Everest as they get ready for the start of the playoffs next week. So we'll have that coming up a little later in the show as well. And then we will wrap things up with our daily history lesson and have an opportunity as well to see if Ian can continue his win streak in the number for the day quiz. Ian has got it right the last couple of days, so we'll try to make it 3 in a row and earn a winning week early on and keep his hopes alive of matching his all-time best week. So that will be coming up at the end of the show as well. So a lot on the plate as we start this Thursday. And I guess before we go any further, need to say hi, hello, and good morning to Mr. Ian Welsh. Good morning.
Good morning, Chad.
What's up? What's going on?
Well, let's see. Today's kind of quiet, actually.
I gotta say, I did.
Not really too much going on.
I think maybe, I'm sure you saw this before, but I saw yesterday that for River and Woods, they announced their cast list for 9 to 5.
I did.
We always like to keep up the
I've ever
speed.
seen a cast list go up for a show.
You didn't try out for that one. Why didn't you try out?
No, that one I wasn't too familiar with that one, and well, I really wanted to audition for Anastasia because that one is more of an unfamiliar show that I'm not too familiar with. And I want a challenge. I want to do something that, I haven't really done before. But looking at the cast list, there's so many talented people in the show itself. And even though I'm not in the show, I'm still going to go see it.
Very good. No, it's always wonderful to hear another show going on. The amount of shows that we have here in Central Wisconsin is really pretty amazing. I mean, when you look at all the different groups, you got that River and Woods, you have the Wausau Community Theater, you have the area high schools that are always putting on shows, you have the shows that come to the Grant Theater. I mean, it really is something else. So good for them. Great to see that River and Woods seems to be thriving. Excuse me.
Yeah, they've been doing a lot better recently.
Man, I was actually thinking the other day about, the pressure there must be to keep that voice healthy. Because I've been, having issues with the voice a little bit, much better lately, but for an actor. And you have to be a little lucky not to get anything. Because I was doing the hockey game the other night, and one of the Wausau West athletic department employees was taking the tickets and selling the tickets at the door, and she had no voice. None.
Oh, dear.
I mean, it was that's very, very, it was even worse than what I had previously. And I was saying, I said to her, this is it's been one of the aspects of whatever's been going around. Yeah. It's the loss of the voice. And it's not just been me, not just her. I mean, I've seen others as well. And then when you think about some of the folks that are involved in the theater, and of course you have groups of people together that rehearse, and that can go around very, very quickly. So again, I would just think it would be horrible if you get to the point where you go through whatever, the 6 weeks or whatever it may be for rehearsing, and then you get to the show and your voice is gone.
Oh,
I mean, that'd be just a nightmare.
It's terrible.
So absolutely. I wanted to touch on something here. Yesterday morning, near the end of the show, and then after the show ended, I saw a couple of more messages. And I'd mentioned during the course of the show yesterday, received a message after I talked a bit about Jeff Bezos and his announcement.
Columns about how he wants to change them to certain topics, make it more conservative.
Yes. And the thing about it was I made some comments concerned about, geez. Let me see here.
Well, don't tell me it started already.
Yeah, I mean, it's just odd. I don't know what this person is that has this need, and I'm sure he'll keep doing it the rest of the day. But first of all, he basically called me a fascist because I disagree. And he's, now he's sending another. I mean, again, whatever. I mean, I'm glad you're listening. I'm glad, sir, that you're listening. But the idea that I'm the only one that's concerned that the billionaire owner of the Washington Post has decided to make his opinion sheet a mega sheet, I mean, I'm going to speak out about it. And frankly, this gentleman has the opportunity. I mean, he's just sitting there in front of his computer. And he's sending me very, very disturbing. I mean, yesterday, 3 in a row, right after the show ended, kill yourself. Really? Is that higher level discourse? Because there is an argument that Jeff Bezos should be able to do whatever he wants. That Jeff Bezos bought the Washington Post with his billions and billions of dollars and able to do whatever he wants. If he wants it to be a mega sheet, it should be a mega sheet. And I think there's an argument that could be made. Hey, in this country, you're able to do that. I and many others, I will say, disagree. And it wasn't just me yesterday that were concerned about it. In fact, the opinion editor of the Washington Post decided that he was not going to move forward and try to implement this radical change from what the Post has done during the history of that newspaper. And of course, anybody that has any knowledge of the history of the Washington Post knows it's one of the most decorated newspapers in the history of this country.
Yes, it is.
Of course, I think the high point of its history was its coverage of Watergate. And I sometimes think now, here in 2025, about what would happen if Watergate had occurred today.
Ooh.
I don't think Richard Nixon would have been forced from office. In fact, I think Richard Nixon would have easily cruised right through it, screaming like Donald Trump does about witch hunts and fake news. A pliant press led by people like Jeff Bezos would have given him a pass and would have just went on, despite the fact that what he did and what the people around him in that administration did was against the Constitution and against what we expect of a administrative government in the United States of America. But nowadays we have not just newspaper editors, newspaper owners, we have tech barons, we have billionaires, all trying to top each other when it comes to kneeling towards the President of the United States. And there are going to be a few of us out here that try to mention that is not the way to go. And we are willing to have a discussion on what the path forward should be, what is wrong, what is right, a battle of ideas. But if your response is kill yourself, it's kind of hard to have a rational discussion.
Mm-hmm.
And I see too many on the right that are like that. Kill yourself. That was a wonderful thing to read as I ended my show yesterday, I got to say. I hope you can hear the sarcasm dripping. But if this person is sitting in his home or sitting in his car somewhere, tune into this program, deciding that he's going to he's doing it now. He just keeps on sending me these messages. He disagrees with me. But he's not willing to have a real battle of ideas when 3 consecutive messages yesterday are kill yourself. Gentlemen, sir, you can't be taken seriously that way.
No.
I know you probably have your poster of Donald Trump in the passenger side of your car, like you're riding with him. Chris and Meg, I'm sure, are saying things that you agree with. But if you're ever willing to have a real discussion, we're willing to have it. But I tuned out after you said kill yourself. I'm not going to be reading all your other. I mean, you can keep on sending them, but I'm not reading them after that. So that's my policy here. But on that note, we'll try to pick things up, put a little bit more of a lighter touch on things as we talk to our meteorologist Brittney Merlot coming up next here on 98.9 WXCO.
You're listening to Civic Media. Stay up to date on the latest news and information for your local community and Wisconsin by signing up for our free email newsletter. Visit civicmedia.us/email to get started.
And welcome back. Chad Holmes with you here on 98.9 WXCO. Online at WXCO.FM. Mobile devices and Alexa by searching WXCO. And on the Civic Media app. The time is 8:22. Again, a mild start here in north central Wisconsin. Temperature at 37 degrees here at our studios at the corner of Washington Street and North 3rd Street in downtown Wausau. However, overcast skies, a little bit darker than what we've had the last few days. Getting closer and closer to the weekend, getting closer and closer to the start of a new month, and getting closer and closer to the start of a meteorological spring. As we have our own calendar here, and the person that opened my eyes to it all is our meteorologist, Brittney Merlot. Brittney, good morning.
Good morning, Chad. Yes, March 1st is the first day of spring in my world, our worlds. It's going to be fantastic, and it's going to feel like that too. We've got some nice temperatures still on deck, and then we also have some storms too.
Oh,
So it's going to be a
well,
wild as we go into next month.
month of March is just like that, isn't it? I mean, anything is possible around the March.
It really is. And I was looking ahead, and it looks like the jet stream really does want to hit us. So I don't know if winter is really over just yet.
Well, we're going to look forward to that. But right now, last night, as I left in the evening, we had some precipitation starting to fall. And of course, with the temperatures the way they are, at times it can get a little slick. But also, that snow is just going, and it's going to be gone pretty soon, isn't it?
Yes, it is, and it's making me so sad. Huge snow lover over here, and every inch that goes away, I shed a tear. But it's soggy, it's wet, it's muddy season. We are, of course, the melt is good. The soil does need it, so we are setting things up pretty well for the farmers out there. And as we go through today, we're not looking at anything too wild, just a little spotty precipitation, very, very light, but it will stay mostly cloudy and dreary today. So a darker day, high temperatures pretty much where they are right now. We'll be in those upper 30s to low 40s throughout the afternoon. We're looking at a little shot of some light snow overnight. So we could be waking up to a trace out on the ground there in the morning. Could be a little slick, a little slippery. Obviously, we'll be below freezing, falling to those mid 20s overnight tonight. And then tomorrow, we climb back to the low to mid 40s. So still mild out there. We do have a chance of rain in the afternoon, very light, spotty sprinkles. And then that could flip to a little bit of flurries in the evening because a cold front is slamming through the state tomorrow. So what that's going to be doing is increasing our winds today. It's going to get quite breezy, gusts up to 30 miles per hour. And then tomorrow, those winds are going to be vicious. They're going to be gusting around 40 to maybe 50 miles per hour. So a high wind warning or advisory could go out for tomorrow. We could see some power outages scattered across the area because wind's that strong and this vegetation's still kind of out there. We could see some limbs coming down and all of that. But as the front passes, we are looking at a cooler and crisp and sunny, bright weekend. Highs on Saturday will only be in the mid 20s, but there'll be plenty of sunshine. Winds will be calmer. It'll be nice. And then Sunday, we're looking at the low 30s with a ton of sunshine as well. So a beautiful weekend, but a windy end to the week.
I know that you get up north often, and I'm actually heading up north. I have to travel to Superior on Saturday morning.
You do?
Well,
I'm coming with. I love Superior.
You can be my color commentator for the girls sectional hockey game, or I can drop you off. You can have fun, and I'll pick you up after the game. But,
yes, I'm serious. I love that area. That's so fun.
I was wondering, what is it like up there right now? Is there a lot of snow up there? What can I expect as I drive up there?
Not much. Unfortunately, a lot of northern Wisconsin has lost their snowfall. You'll see spotty places like kind of here, in the shaded areas in the woods. You'll see some snowfall still lingering, but overall, they're melting too. The only places that you can really find a decent amount of snow still that you can play in is going to be the UP. So far northeast.
Yeah, I mean, things have changed big time in the last couple of years, and we're talking about new normals, and again, I just wonder what the future brings because the winter sports enthusiasts have had a tough time of it the last couple of years.
We sure have. I feel like we're going to be flocking to the Great Lakes and looking for that lake effect snow as we move forward in the future.
Absolutely. Well, we'll look forward to tomorrow, the last day of February, and we'll look forward to talking to you tomorrow morning.
Sounds good. Can't wait. You have a great day.
Bye, Brittney.
Bye, guys.
That's our Brittney Merlot. Joins us every weekday morning at 8:21. She gets around. I tell you, she just loves being you talk about somebody that really loves being in Wisconsin and taking advantage of what's going on in Wisconsin, whether during the winter, the spring, the summer, the fall. She travels all over the state and really does have a great feel for what folks enjoy here in the state of Wisconsin. So she always is very accurate as well when it comes to the forecast here on the program as well. So
incredibly.
Always lucky to have her. And again, she'll be back with us tomorrow morning at 8:21. Quick note that coming up tonight, we have high school boys basketball. It is the regular season finale. We are heading down the stretch towards the end of the winter high school sports season. Of course, we're into the sectionals for hockey. We are into the playoffs for girls hoops. And now we will have our final regular season boys basketball broadcast tonight night. It will be senior night at the Wausau West Fieldhouse as the Wausau West boys basketball team takes on the Merrill Blue Jays. Coverage begins with the pregame show at 7 and the opening tip at 7:15 right here on 98.9 WXCO, online at WXCO.FM, mobile devices and Alexa by searching WXCO, and on the Civic Media app. In fact, a little bit of a historical game because tonight is the last game that the Merrill Blue Jays will play as a member of the Wisconsin Valley Conference. They are leaving the Wisconsin Valley Conference after this year. They will become a member of the Great Northern Conference starting next year. So last chance for a WVC win for the Blue Jays, and the Warriors will try to get a win to wrap up their season. It's been a very good regular season for Wausau West. They enter at 16-7. So hopefully you can join us tonight for Warrior Boys Hoops here on WXU. And of course, coming up the next couple of days, just big hockey games. Tomorrow night, Wausau West takes on Eau Claire Memorial. Sectional championship game, trip to state on the line tomorrow night at 6:50 for the pregame. And then on Saturday, heading up to Superior, as I said, as the Central Wisconsin Storm will take on the Hayward Hurricanes. Early start, 11 a.m. for the opening faceoff, 10:50 for the pregame, right here on 98.9 WXCO, online at WXCO.FM, mobile devices and Alexa by searching WXCO, and on the Civic Media app. And if Marathon Girls win tomorrow night, we'll have Marathon Girls basketball in the playoffs coming up on Saturday night as well. So lots of busyness straight ahead. We're going to have an information update coming up next. 8:29 is the time, 37 degrees the temperature. Chad Home Show, 98.9 WXCO. Trip to the state tournament is on the line Friday night as the Wausau West hockey team takes on Eau Claire Memorial in a sectional final. Hear all the exciting action live on 98.9 WXCO, online at WXCO.FM, mobile devices and Alexa by searching WXCO, and on the Civic Media app, starting with the pregame show at 6:50 and the opening face-off at 7 p.m. Wausau West Hockey on 98.9 WXCO is brought to you by the Cloverbell Credit Union, Red Robin Restaurants, Sun Printing, the Wausau West Athletic Department, Coast to Coast Marketing, and the Wausau West Hockey Booster Club. It's Wausau West taking on Eau Claire Memorial in a Division I hockey sectional championship game. Friday night, starting with the pregame show at 6:50, opening face-off at 7 p.m. on 98.9 WXCO, online at WXCO.FM, mobile devices and Alexa by searching WXCO, and on the Civic Media app. Yeah, you think outside the mega right, they'll be calling you a radical, a liberal, out of your mind. But we need people that are willing to push back. And in this country, whichever side of the political aisle you're on, if you see something that is wrong, you need to point it out. And for fear of alienating Thomas Paine or whatever his name is out there, that seems to be tuned in to me here last couple of days, I'm going to talk a little bit more about this whole Bezos situation and what it really means. And it's about true freedom of expression. And again, the idea that the owners of news publications aren't putting their finger on the scales is a rather naive thought. But Jeff Bezos has owned the Washington Post since 2013, I believe. Yep, 2013. And there have been many who have worked for him who said that he was somebody that stood with the people that ran that newspaper. tried to do the right things for many years, even during the first Trump administration. And it's not just Bezos we have seen here during Trump 2.0 that has decided that any pushback is futile. That's old. What is it? An old Star Trek line? Resistance is futile.
Mm-hmm. I remember that.
And it feels as though they have decided it's the easier route to fall in to the mega crowd, not to point out as strongly the wrongs that are being done by Donald Trump and those on the mega right. But that announcement yesterday was like a thunderbolt because it was such a specific announcement that said, we are not going to allow differing opinions than the ones that Jeff Bezos and Donald Trump want in the opinion pages of this newspaper. And the publisher of the newspaper, after the incredible blowback that occurred yesterday after this announcement was made, came out and said, oh, this does not mean that the news division, the news reporters, will not be allowed to continue to report independently. Well, good luck on that. Good luck on that, because this obviously seems like the start of a slippery slope.
Yep.
But again, yesterday, if you're missed yesterday and did not hear what was happening, Bezos put out a memo to his staff yesterday morning. The billionaire declared that the only opinions that will be put in the Washington Post opinion section will support, quote, personal liberties and free markets. And the person that has been pushing back on me, saying that, oh, what do I have against personal liberties and free markets? It is not specifically those terms, but we are not going to act like idiots here. And the folks are, well, there's nothing wrong. We know what is going on here. This is not about personal liberties and free markets. And by the way, Jeff Bezos has profited very handsomely when it comes to areas that would be called the total opposite of free markets. He has received billions of dollars in government subsidies through his Blue Origin space flight organization and others. And part of this whole cozying up to MAGA is to make sure that those government subsidies continue. Because we have seen Donald Trump and Elon Musk decide that, hey, if you don't toe the line, we're going to use the chainsaw. You remember Elon with his chainsaw. We're going to, you're going to be one of the folks that get cut. But the idea that, okay, he wants his opinion page to be more right-wing. And that's what it is. And again, we can pretend it's otherwise, but let's be adults here. Let's say what is happening here.
Uh-huh.
And then he says that viewpoints opposing those pillars will be left to be published by others. And that, we've talked often about the battle of ideas. I don't say that I have all the right ideas. I don't say that those center to the left have all the best ideas. I'm not saying that nothing that ever comes out from those on the right are the bad ideas. No. There are ideas that can be good on all sides. But it is
bad on both sides.
It has to be, and I hate the term both sides, but I'm saying there's ideas that are good on the left and even once in a while. I don't think there's as many, but let's have the battle of ideas. And
good
then
and decent ideas.
Jeff Bezos then says viewpoints opposing his will not be published. No battle of ideas there. And what happens to those who don't toe the company line? Opinion writers that have been there for many, many years. Those left of center columnists, Catherine Rampell, Eugene Robinson, E.J. Dionne. What does that mean to them? And will this eventually affect the paper's hard news coverage? I have a hard time thinking that you're going to change to a far-right ideology on your opinion pages and not have it seep in. And the bigger point is, and people say, how does this affect us here in central Wisconsin? Well, if we have nobody that is independently holding the current administration in line, and that's not just a Donald Trump administration thing. The independent press has held the Biden administration, the Obama administration, the George W. Bush administration, the Clinton administration, the Reagan administration, all the way back. They are holding administrations of Republicans and Democrats in the history of this country. They are a voice for the American people. And Donald Trump and his administration is trying to muzzle that at every level. This week, announcing that the White House press office will decide who asked the questions to the president. And that has been traditionally an independent aspect. The president answers questions from those that are put on the White House press pool by the White House Correspondents Association. But now the Trump administration we want to be able to handpick the people that ask Trump questions. So, the people that ask the questions Trump doesn't like are not going to be allowed to ask the questions. And the pushback, I think, has been very heartening concerning what Bezos is trying to do. Martin Barron, the paper's executive editor until just a few years ago, 2021, a man that worked for Jeff Bezos for many years at the Washington Post, says what Bezos is doing runs counter to what he said and actually practiced during my tenure at the Post. He said, I have always been grateful for how Bezos stood up for the Post and an independent press against Trump's constant threats to his business interest. Now I couldn't be more sad and disgusted. And Bezos, and the thing people need to realize, and when people say, well, he's losing subscribers, and he has lost hundreds of thousands of subscribers going back to the fall. Back in the fall, the company lost 300,000 subscribers after Bezos put his hand on the till when it came to the presidential election. He forbid his opinion section from putting out a planned editorial endorsing Kamala Harris for president. He said, no, you're not going to do that. Then 300,000 folks canceled their subscription. Just recently, Bezos and the Post refused to publish Ann Telnay's cartoon that showed American oligarchs, including Bezos, bowing to Trump. In protest, she resigned from the Post, where she had worked since 2008. And the latest move obviously will mean that more subscribers will leave the newspaper. But the thing is, Bezos does not make his money with the Washington Post. Bezos' money comes with Amazon. Bezos' money comes with Blue Origin. Bezos' money comes with his other business interests. And what he's trying to do is protect those other business interests from Trump administration pushback. He is kowtowing to Donald Trump. He is showing absolutely no spine when it comes to Donald Trump.
No.
And frankly, if every left of center subscriber leaves the Post, he won't care. It's not going to put a dent in him. It will just mean the death knell for a great American newspaper. And again, this is outrageous. And whether that there are folks out there, Bezos can do whatever he wants. What's wrong with putting out an opinion page that has just two guideposts, personal liberties and free markets? Doesn't free speech involve personal liberties? Doesn't questioning your government involve personal liberties? If you truly believe in personal liberties, Thomas Paine and others, you should not be cheering on moves like this. This is a move that is bad for the Washington Post. It is a move that is bad for the United States of America. It's bad for journalism as a whole. And it's bad for holding governments accountable. And in a democracy, in a democratic republic, if you don't have an independent media holding elected officials accountable, the slide towards authoritarianism continues and becomes much more difficult to stop. And the bottom line here is Donald Trump and the people around Donald Trump, the megas around Donald Trump, want to control the media. It's starting with the Gulf of America by penalizing the Associated Press by refusing to kowtow to him. And that's what it's about. It's about control. And it's going to take courage to avoid having that happen. And if you're looking for courage, Jeff Bezos is not the person to look for.
No, he is not.
So there we have, again, it's another instance of, I think, something that should be concerning to all Americans. The time is 8:48. Again, coming up at 9:21 this morning, we'll be joined by Susan Crawford, candidate for the Wisconsin State Supreme Court. Very important election coming up on April 1st. She's paying a visit to Wausau later today. We'll get a chance to talk to her at 9:21 this morning. We'll take a quick time out. I am Chad Holmes, along with Ian Welsh. Chad Holmes Show, 98.9 WXCO.
You're listening to Civic Media. Find the latest news, information, and archives of all your favorite shows on the Civic Media website, civicmedia.us.
The Central Wisconsin Storm girls hockey team looks to punch their ticket to the state tournament. The Storm will take on the Hayward Hurricanes in a sectional championship game. Hear all the exciting action live on 98.9 WXCO, online at WXCO.FM. Mobile devices and Alexa by searching WXCO, and on the Civic Media app, starting with the pregame show at 10:50 a.m. and the opening face-off at 11 a.m. Storm Hockey on 98.9 WXCO is brought to you by the Clover Belt Credit Union, Red Robin Restaurants, Sun Printing, the Wausau West Athletic Department, Coast to Coast Marketing. It's the Central Wisconsin Storm taking on the Hayward Hurricanes in a girls hockey sectional championship game. Saturday, starting with the pregame show at 10:50, opening face-off at 11 on 98.9 WXCO, online at WXCO.FM, mobile devices and Alexa by searching WXCO, and on the Civic Media app. Chad Home Show, 98.9 WXCO, online at WXCO.FM, mobile devices and Alexa by searching WXCO, and on the Civic Media app. And you can also catch us by going to our YouTube page, youtube.com, and be able to see our video stream of the show as well. Again, youtube.com, go to the 98.9 WXCO page on the site and be able to see what we're doing as well. And you can also give us a call or send us a text at 715-382-9297. 715-382-9297. That's our text line or our call line. And of course, you can also use the Civic Media app. If you have not downloaded the app yet, what are you waiting for? It's a terrific piece of technology. Be able to hook up with all of the stations on the Civic Media radio network and be able to, if there's a show that's on one of the other stations, be able to tune in. But also our 98.9 WXCO part of the app. You can listen to us wherever you are around the country and around the world. Sad news this morning, heard on the top of the hour news. Legendary actor Gene Hackman. Oscar-winning actor Gene Hackman, his wife, and their dog were found dead in their New Mexico home, according to authorities this morning.
Oh, dear.
Don't know what happened. It's interesting that Mr. Hackman, his wife, and their dog would all be found dead, and foul play is not suspected. It seems like something went on there, but authorities did not disclose how they died and said an investigation was ongoing. Hackman, 95 years old, his wife, Betsy Arakawa, 63, and their dog were all dead when deputies entered their home to check on their welfare around 1:45 p.m. yesterday, according to the Santa Fe County Sheriff's Office. Hackman was an incredible actor. I think that anybody that has watched the movies over the past 4, 5, 6 decades, he was nominated for Oscars 5 different times.
Yeah.
The French Connection, I think, was one of his famous films back in 1972. He was, I remember him in Hoosiers, the great high school basketball.
He was Lex Luthor in the Christopher Reeve Superman films.
He is the true Lex Luthor.
Mm-hmm.
The first Superman movie is still the best Superman movie.
Oh, man.
But, he just kept working for many, many years. He was always one of the best. Mississippi Burning, great movie he was in with Willem Dafoe. And, just a man that whenever you saw a movie with Hackman in it, odds are you're going to get something out of it. There were times, and it's actually funny because I enjoy on YouTube watching some of the old Siskel and Ebert shows. And sometimes I'll watch their worst of lists for every year. And there were times that a Hackman movie would show up, and there's one that they said the thing about it that made it bad was Hackman had to play dumb in the movie. And they said Gene Hackman always is a smart actor. And when you ask him to play dumb, the movie ain't going to work. You have to have Gene Hackman play smart.
Yeah, and that's an insult.
Yeah, he always played smart. And you couldn't believe a character if Gene Hackman was playing it dumb. So Gene Hackman always was somebody that was incredibly good on the big screen. And hopefully this, I don't know. It's a sad story where both he and his wife and their dog are all dead. But 95 years old. He had not been working after retiring from acting from about 20 years ago. I remember when he announced his retirement from acting, I thought, why are you retiring from acting? You can still do it. He was in his mid to upper 70s. But he decided, hey, the time was right. And his list of roles and movies was already longer than one's arm. So rest in peace, Gene Hackman and his wife, Gene Hackman, 95 years old. We're coming up on the end of the first hour of our program. Coming up, we'll get probably more on the death of Gene Hackman. Other news headlines coming up as well. We will have coming up in the second hour, again, a chance to talk to State Supreme Court candidate Susan Crawford. She'll be calling in to join us at 9:21. And then we'll, of course, as well, have our number for the day quiz as part of our daily history lesson. Ian got it right on on Tuesday and on Wednesday, so he's 2 out of 3 this week, so we'll see if he can make it 3 in a row. So a big second hour to come. Chad Holmes Show, 98.9 WXCO.
The national news cycle never stops, but it can be hard to find news about your local community. Civic Media is dedicated to providing quality local and state news coverage across Wisconsin. With the Civic Media app, you can get notifications about local stories that matter to you and your community. Find the free Civic Media app in your phone's app store and choose notifications from the menu to tell us what kind of news you want to hear about.